Here we go. What is going on, Cumberland Crew? Welcome back to the show. Everybody's doing good as always. Thursday Night Football is going to be kicking off today later with the Giants and those Eagles. What are we talking today? Keeper trade on these values. A lot of injuries, a lot of teams going down in the rankings. Now's an opportunity to trade some of your players potentially or buy to improve your squad and improve your chances of winning those fantasy championships, baby. I got 8 players on the board, 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. Let's dive into a Saquon. Number 1 on my board right now, Saquon Barkley. It's a far cry from last year's 2,000 yards, and that was to be expected. We knew there was going to be a slight regression, and so far it's been a decent season of Saquon, but not necessarily the top end point productivity. Still doesn't have a 20-point game, if I am not mistaken at this point. He was the ADP running back 1. Him and Bijan 1A, 1A this offseason. Right now, currently, Saquon is a running back number 9, 72 points on the board, and he still has boomed in 80% of his contests. This is a big positive, but like I was mentioning about somebody like a Derrick King Henry on the discount, we got a slight discount on a Saquon Barkley. It's definitely not low value. He still has supremely high value going, and he still will continue that. But if you find a club who may be struggling with Saquon on their roster, now's the time to go send those flyers, especially if you got depth on your roster. Now is the opportunity. The Eagles still kind of, stuck in that second gear when it comes to their pass game. This offense overall does not look overly dominant like they have in past years, and I still love Saquon down the stretch. I think they're going to continue to start to run the football that much more. They know they just got to win games during the regular season, keep him healthy for another long playoff run. There is issue that he is dealing with some sort of knee ailment as well. Nothing to get overly concerned about. I believe he only had 10 touches this past week, so there is something to keep your eye on. Definitely could buy on a discount. It is elite level discount, though. I mean, Saquon is that elite running back, so you're definitely going to have to put a massive package deal together to go grab him, but I'm all in, especially if the owner is willing to hear trade offers on the man. Jamar Chase right now for the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, they trade for Joe Flacco. Because Jake Browning just is not doing the business. What I say to y'all last week on Start Sit was the biggest argument I had. We got to play our studs for better or worse majority of the time. And it's exactly what I said. Jamar Chase can basically do it on his own. That's exactly what he did. Browning was tossing things up, and Jamar Chase was coming down with touchdowns. This is what he is. One of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in the entire NFL, and he can do it on his own. Yes, is Joe Flacco an upgrade? 100%. Is it going to upgrade this offense to, Joey B levels? Hell no. But at least it is an upgrade for fantasy football. At least Joe Flacco is known to at least support top-end caliber wide receivers. Did not go down very well in Cleveland. I think it will go down a little bit better here in Cincinnati, especially with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and company. At least they should get the run game going as well with a Chase Brown. Right now, it is 70 points, only 40% on that boom rate. A ranked wide receiver right now is wide receiver 9, so that is surprising. So it just shows you that in today's NFL, where they say it's a passing league, Jamar Chase has been very much null and void for, 3 out of 5 games, and he still is the wide receiver 9. So that tells you the lack of passing upside the NFL is doing right now. That's why I keep telling y'all, get your damn running backs, because it still is a running back league. 70 points right now, 45 targets. Still very good on the season for a Jamar Chase. You can buy now. It is buy low. Probably not, because he just boomed off. If he would have, failed this past week, it would have been a buy low. But you can still snag him off somebody's roster who is struggling as well. And I would put a nice package deal together, because with a Joe Flacco, there is potential opportunity to have better consistency rather than those top end points. Keep or buy now on a Jamar Chase. Omarion Hampton, my dude, rookie for these LA Chargers. Terrible news. He goes and gets an ankle sprain. He is on the IR, potentially will return after those 4 weeks. But this is a problem, because if you drafted him, you likely took a top 3-round pick, top 4th-round pick to grab him in your drafts. This is a massive issue, especially if you don't have running back depth. Now you sell him with somebody else as well. Try to regain some running backs to come back on your roster. I'm still an Omarion fan. You guys know this, but these 4 weeks will be the difference in you making the playoffs and not making the playoffs, especially if you don't have an injured reserve spot on your roster in your leagues. That is a big problem. He started picking up steam, man. Running back 14 after 5 weeks. Very good for an Omarion Hampton. 67 points, 60% on that boom rate, was getting involved in both the run and the pass game. This is exactly what I knew he could be. But now the ankle injury, and this was weird, man. This kid has never been hurt throughout college as well. Absolutely the staple and standard of reliability and not going to the medical room. Now he finds himself gone for 4 weeks. I still like trading him right now. Sell him for an upgrade, package deal, and try to recoup either wide receivers or running backs back on your roster, because somebody that is at least willing to hold on to him, potentially the top teams on your standings in your league, they will maybe go for an Omarion even with the injury, because they're looking for depth for a long playoff run, but still could give you points in the aggregate if you make up players in that sense. So for me right now, sell, upgrade for a trade on an Omarion Hampton is definitely worth shopping to see. Do not give him away. That is the key, man. I know a lot of people are going to say he's gone for 4 weeks. I'm not giving nothing for him. But now's the opportunity to at least start those conversations for Omarion Hampton. Do not give him away, but we definitely got to try to recoup some value with him now being injured for 4 weeks. Next one we got is Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry. Okay, that injury for him as well. He has not played basically the last 2 weeks, and there was concern that it could be a potential surgery coming for this man. So they bucked that, and they said, no, surgery is not coming, and he is progressing in the right manner at this point. They are taking their time. They don't want to re-injure this by coming back too soon, and Debo has been killing it so far. The biggest problem is the draft capital. He was wide receiver 18. We probably drafted him a lot higher than that. He currently sits as wide receiver 83. This is a massive buy low candidate for me. We got to get the shares of Terry. Stat-wise, 0 booms when his return. 10 receptions on the season. Definitely not good when he was on the field. This was my biggest concern when he was holding out for this contract, that he was not going to be in football shape, man. Football speed is different than practice speed, and it definitely showcases that when guys do not practice and play in the preseason or in training camp whatsoever. It is a big problem. But right now, as long as his rehab does continue to move forward in the right direction, I wonder if he'll play this week. They say there's a chance, but I wouldn't be shocked if they do sit him one more week. But absolutely, you can get him on the super cheap right now, and he could be a big-time baller in the second half of the regular season for us going into the fantasy playoffs. Scary Terry is a huge buy low candidate for me. I'm going to try to snag him off everybody's team that I possibly can. Next we got is Cam Scattaboo. Okay, New York Giants running back right now, 18. This is very good for a running back, once again, that I did not give near enough credit for. He is actually a very talented specimen. I knew he was good at Arizona State, but I'm telling y'all, it was one of those situations that I was fearful that his game may not translate to the pros. But he's doing extremely well. You can't measure a guy's heart. That's the only thing. All the film study you want to do, you just can't measure a dude's heart. He can catch, he can block, he's a battering ram, he can freaking run the football, and he's done admirably well in the absence of a Tyrone Tracy. Tracy is returning to the field. He is not on the injured designation at going into week number 6, which is positive news for us Tyrone Tracy owners. But will this really limit a Cam Scattaboo? Probably not. He's at least earned the right to have number 1 touches in this offense, but they should go to something of a split backfield to help keep at least off-balance defenses where Cam is, battering ram, where Tracy has got the speed and wheels and juice to make things happen. Both of them can catch, which will be a benefit to a Jackson Dart as well. Right now, 53 points on the board, 80% on that boom rate so far this season after giving all those touches. He is doing exceptionally well for a rookie. Right now, for me, you can sell him on the high. It is a trade sell upgrade for me because I do believe you could sell him for multiple players and get big time value in return for a Cam Scattaboo. You do not sell him just to sell him. If someone's going to give you a good offer, at least start, pitching out to get top end wide receivers, top end running backs for Scattaboo. Even if you package somebody else with him to upgrade your entire roster, that's the name of the game. You don't want to have to think about who you're starting. You want those elite talents to just plug and play every single week, and Cam could definitely get you good returns in that respect. If you can't trade him, that's totally fine. You could keep a Cam, but he's definitely a sell-high candidate for me as Tyrone Tracy is back, and this offense with Jackson Dart should continue to move up in the right direction. Jalen Waddle time. Next one on my board, wide receiver 17 was the ADP wide receiver 30, and now without Tyreek Hill, he's showing that he is that dude. What is the biggest issue I have with a Jalen Waddle? It's the injuries, man. This guy you breathe on him and he goes down with an injury, it seems these days. and I don't like it whatsoever. The positives, okay, Jalen Waddle is taking wide receiver 1 targets along with a Darren Waller in Miami from Tua, and it is going to continue this way in Miami. However, you probably have him as your wide receiver 3 option on your team at this point based on where his ADP was, so this is good news, man. This is cash dollar bills all day long on the trade market. You absolutely sell high after this big game that he did have. Will it continue for the season? Almost 60 points. He's got 60% on that boom rate, almost 300 yards and 3 TDs. This is what's giving him the point totals, is scoring these tutties, baby. So his trend is moving on the right upside where you can cash in huge, especially if you are dealing with injuries at your running back spot and you got other wide receivers to supplant the loss of what potentially Jalen Waddle is going to be. Without Tyreek Hill, he is going to be peppered with targets. Easy 120 target share by the end of the season if he does remain healthy. I do love the sell of a Jalen Waddle time right now because the returns could be absolutely plentiful and give us so many options to deal with on our team and upgrade up in the standings. Next one we got is a Kenneth Walker the third. K9, you keep and buy now on this man. Yes, he's had some, bust games, only 60% on the boom rate right now, and he's, lost a touchdown last week to a Zach Charbonnet, but he's been running so damn well. Finally healthy as well, and like I've always been saying about a K9, if he is healthy, plays a full 17 games, he could easily be a top 5 running back in this league, and that's what he definitely is showcasing at this point. 60 points on the board. He is matching his ADP right now, which is kind of funny because he's been playing better than what his stat line definitely says. But I'm telling y'all, because of how this offense does move, it is one of those situations where you want to see continued growth out of this offense, being the run game, and then open up the play action pass with a Sam Darnold to Jackson Smith-Njigba, which they have been doing quite a bit. And I foresee just the entire future, and I think they're playing it kind of right at this point, limiting the top-end volume so that he does remain healthy and he's not lost to the medical room as well. So K9 for me is an absolute stellar buy now candidate because he's not going to blow people out of the water with a trade offer, but at least it's still going to be relatively high, but at least you're not going to have to sell the farm to go grab his services, especially if the other team is struggling with him on there right now. His trend definitely is moving in the right direction for a K9. You keep or buy now because he will help out your roster. Last one we got is a Zay Flowers, Baltimore Ravens. I'm getting out of the Baltimore Ravens sweepstakes at this point. I can't do it anymore. At least Zay's still giving us a decent floor enough. 60 points or 60% on that boom rate, almost 60 points, 58.8 points right now. 36 targets still without a Lamar Jackson is very good. And I mean, he's giving you the 8 to 10, 8 to 12, even without Lamar Jackson at this point, which is positive. But I just don't like what I see in Baltimore. Right now, he is the wide receiver 19, and the upside was there when this team was playing well. Now, they're going to be fighting for their lives. Yes, they got to try to win contests, but this season could be a wrap, especially if Lamar misses another 2 weeks or so. It is going to be a problem. You can easily still sell the name cachet and the point totals that he does possess, even without a Lamar Jackson. There still is good value here as well. Whether you're upgrading a running back position or just swapping a wide receiver, I do like the trade potential to sell high and upgrade with a Zay Flowers, especially if you make a nice package deal for somebody as well to upgrade their depth. Zay Flowers would be an attractive piece for somebody else as you can upgrade elsewhere on your roster. But there you have it. That is week number 6. Keep or trade, buy or sell, who we sell and who we buy in. We got to revamp our rosters. Always, every single week, man. Hit that waiver wire every week, y'all. That is the difference in winning and losing championships, I'm telling y'all. And then you sprinkle in some of these trades, and that's how we get those dubs, man. No kidding. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.